Am 21. November startete der Film Official Secrets in den deutschen Kinos. Darin geht es um die Geschichte einer echten Whistleblowerin. Wir von FINK.HAMBURG haben den Journalisten Martin Bright, einen der wahren Charaktere, im Rahmen des Filmfests Hamburg getroffen und interviewt.
So, Mr. Bright, first, thanks for your time for the talk. And my first question is, what is it like to see your story now on a big screen?
I can't say I'm not delighted, right? I mean, it is fantastic to have the recognition that a big movie like this brings to your story. Additionally, I'm pleased that the film is such an accurate portrayal of events. That was something I couldn't necessarily expect. I put my story into the hands of the director and he came back with this amazing film that's artistically wonderful, but also is a very, very accurate portrayal of events as they happened.
I've also read in an interview with you with the Independent magazine that you say that everything that has been put on screen just happened like it is shown. Is there anything of importance that happened that wasn't shown in the movie?
There were a number of things that had to be removed, unfortunately. For me, journalistically, I'd have loved to have seen scenes about the UN delegates that were spied on. I'd have loved to have seen the reaction, in particular of Chile. Mm-hmm. The Chileans were spied on and the reaction was really devastating for that country.
In the movie, we see you in a car park where you're getting the secret memo. Did it really happen like this? And how did you prove the authenticity of the memo?
The car park scene is a little cinematic joke. So I in fact met Yvonne Ridley in a cafe. In terms of the authenticity of the memo, we took a long time to find out exactly whether or not this was the real deal. We had to work really hard with our various sources within the newspaper to find out whether this was the real thing.
Can you name something, what you did to do so?
The important thing about the work that we did on this story was that it was a collaborative piece of work. So I worked with my intelligence sources to check that what we were doing would not lead to prosecution. Other colleagues checked with their foreign intelligence sources that this was the kind of language that would be used. We went to intelligence experts, and the final checkbox was when my colleague Ed Vulliamy rang the office of Frank Koza, the man who sent the email. So he knew that the person who sent this email really existed and really worked at the NSA, and that was the moment that we knew we could publish.
How sure do you have to be to publish an information like that? I mean, you can never be 100% sure.
Within a newspaper, I think you probably have a little bit of leeway. If we'd been a broadcaster in the UK, I think we'd never been able to broadcast this because our sourcing was limited. We did take a gamble, we did take a risk, but I think we were probably 99% sure that it was the real thing.
When you first got the memo and you read it, who did you think leaked it?
Yeah, it's a really good question. There were two scenarios running through my mind. My gut feeling was that this was the real thing, that this was someone from within the intelligence services. What I felt was that it was probably someone very senior. I thought that it was probably an old-style intelligence officer. I imagined a grey-haired man in his 60s maybe, who was unhappy with the way things were going and wanted to make it clear that he was a dissenting voice. And then in the back of my mind I had another scenario, which was that it was a very sophisticated fake. Mm-hmm. That maybe this was the Russians, maybe this was the anti-war movement. So yes, I had these two conflicting ideas in my mind. So when I heard that a 27-year-old female translator had been responsible for this leak, I was amazed.
So I have a final question for you. Mm-hmm. Catherine Gunn received the Sam Adams Award for Integrity in Intelligence. In what kind of way do you think public support for whistleblowers can encourage other potential whistleblowers, and do you think there should be more support in general?
Whistleblowers are the lifeblood of our democracy, and they should be the lifeblood of any organisation. we need to move towards a system where whistleblowers are not seen as exceptional individuals, but it becomes a normal part of people's professional life. If you see something that's wrong, you should be able to report it. In Catherine's case, she lost her job. She's found it difficult to find work ever since, and yet she did the right thing. She was proved to be correct, and in the end the government recognised that she was correct. I think in future we do need to find new ways of recognising the importance of whistleblowers. Perhaps we need to forget the whole term whistleblowers altogether. It gives the idea that these are a special category of individual, whereas we should all really be thinking of ourselves as the sort of people who should disclose wrongdoing when we see it.
All right, then thanks a lot for your time.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for the interview.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.